everybody. Happy inauguration week. It's been a little crazy to cover things because of that, because I don't think Hollywood wants to have any major news stories or releases before Inauguration Day, and it's making for a really backed up Thursday and Friday. I have a lot planned. I'm trying to do videos in advance. I have a top 10 anticipated 2021 video going up tomorrow. I'm maybe going to do a stream tomorrow. I'm not quite sure. I think it depends on whether or not there's enough news. I don't really know if it's a good idea to do one on the same day as the inauguration, although I know a lot of you aren't in America. So, see, Ivan's like, what are you talking about, Grace? I'm talking about the fact that we're going to be inaugurating our president tomorrow. So that might be a little bit of a, I'm not quite sure. I have to see how the day is going. But, you know, I'm prepping Malcolm and Marie. The embargo lifts on Friday. I'm planning to do my WandaVision spoiler review I want ready in advance. Hey, A&E. And then also another WandaVision video that I'm planning to do based off of the third episode to go up on Saturday. So there's just like a lot. I think that everything will start to pick up again after Wednesday. But I think everyone's just kind of respectfully like, you know, taking a break these past few days, which is why it's been so quiet. Yes, tomorrow is a big day for the USA, not your Nico. For those of you who are interested in tuning in to the coverage for the inauguration, if you don't know, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden will be sworn in at around 11:30 a.m. I believe Trump will leave at 8 a.m. There's going to probably be some pre-show stuff, you know, with the Bidens and the Harrises arriving at the White House. And then there's a little bit of stuff afterwards. There's like, there's going to be a parade across America because there's usually a parade, but because of the security concerns and the pandemic, there isn't one this year, you know, this term. But I thought that would be pretty lame to do, you know, an online parade. And then I saw a video promoting it on Twitter last night, and I was like, that looks pretty good. They have like bands, marching bands and dancers. And I was like, oh, maybe I would tune into that. I'm going to be watching on and off all day. Cause you know, it's a really big day. And also, you know, prepping content for later in the week. And then in the evening, if you're inclined, because they can't have any inaugural balls like they usually do, you know, you always see the new president and vice president dancing, you know, in a ball gown. Instead, they're going to do a big party in the evening online, which Tom Hanks is going to host. I'm not quite sure where everybody, I mean, I know, as you guys are pointing out, Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez, Garth Brooks are all performing. I'm not quite sure if they're performing in the afternoon or in the evening. I think the evening, I'm not sure. Lady Gaga might be at the actual inauguration, but you know, it's gonna be a party, and so you might want to tune in and see what's going on. Lisa MP is ordering a pizza and just watching all the coverage. Lisa, that sounds fantastic. Lisa, I think I saw your tweet online and I liked it as well. I think you have the same picture. Your picture's smaller here, so it's a little harder for me to see. But yeah, it's gonna be a big day. And it's going to have wall-to-wall coverage all day. So it's a little tough to release videos because people are going to be wanting to watch that. I know that some of you are like, well, wait a minute, I'm not in the United States, Grace. Don't worry, I do have a video going up tomorrow. I'm probably going to release it at around 10. The coverage starts at 9 a.m. I don't want to compete with the inauguration. That's disrespectful. So I'm probably going to release it a little bit beforehand. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, I wanted to change it up. I've been wearing a lot of black lately. I was like, oh, let me break out this blue shirt. I haven't worn that in a while. Hey, Morgan Dorfer. If you join during a stream, I will give you a shout out. If you can't join, no problem. BTT members were quite gracious and they agreed that these will be for anyone to watch, but only members may comment. So that's the compromise that we worked on. All right, so we have 3 really, really good stories to go over today. And then, of course, as always, you can ask me anything you'd like for the final 10 minutes of the stream. All right, let's get started. Story number 1. Boop. Oh, my goodness, I covered up Johnny Depp a little bit. And that's what people feel Hollywood might be doing. You know, it's funny. Somebody, when I said what the stories were going to be today, someone was like, I have no idea why this Wonka story is trending all day. It's been in the top 10 all day. I feel that's for 2 reasons. One, it's slow news day. So everybody's like, oh, let's talk about Wonka. I mean, remember, 2 things get something trending. People talking about it, but also news outlets tweeting about it. And people are like, oh my God, I need a story. And so everybody's been writing about Wonka, which I totally understand. But the other reason that it's trended is because people who are Johnny Depp fans, and he has quite the army at this point, are pretty upset that he's getting recast yet again. So we'll talk about that a little bit. So I think that's driving it somewhat. So what's going on? So they're making a Wonka prequel. It's Willy Wonka. It's called Wonka right now. It's from Warner Brothers, which of course has released the other Wonka movies, and in fact released a musical a few years ago. I went to see it for my birthday. It's a great show. It was called the Willy Wonka musical, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Hey, Jack Admins. And it starred Christian Borle, who knocked it out of the park. They had a candy store there. It was such a good time. I don't know if any of you got the chance to see Willy Wonka the musical, but it was produced by Warner Brothers the studio, Warner Brothers Theatrical Productions, and it was just a delight. I loved it. I felt bad that it didn't get more attention. So anyway, this time it's going to be produced by David Heyman, who of course did the Harry Potter movies, very successful for Warner Brothers, but also the Paddington Bear movies, which were a delight. And he's brought over his director, Paul King, who straight up copied Wes Anderson for the last Paddington Bear, which was fine. But I suspect that this Wonka will be very Wes Anderson-y as well, which is, I got to tell you, not a bad choice, in terms of creative, outlet for, a creative way to go for Wonka. I'm a little nervous about the screenplay. It's written by Simon Rich, who wrote An American Pickle, the Seth Rogen movie, which I thought was a really good setup, but I thought that the execution was weak. So I'm a little nervous about that. It seemed very small to me. Now, Collider is reporting that there are 2 actors. Now, I've reached out to my sources. I haven't been able to confirm or deny this. But it sounds reasonable, and that's that Warner Brothers really wants Tom Holland or Timothée Chalamet to play young Wonka, which I find very fascinating because they really do reflect the 2 different versions of Wonka. Tom Holland is very much a younger version of Gene Wilder, and Timothée Chalamet is very much a younger version of Johnny Depp. Now, on that note, everyone's like, what's with Hollywood trying to erase Johnny Depp? They're like, first they get rid of him in Fantastic Beasts, then he's not coming back in Pirates, and now he's not even Wonka anymore. I liked the Tim Burton Willy Wonka. I think it was, Wonka is an odd story. And I think that both films worked. The 1970s film, and then also the current update. Now, I don't know if you would really want to pull the curtain back on Wonka. I feel he's a mysterious character, and I think that works for him. You wouldn't want to know too much. Maybe they'll Citizen Kane it, right? That could be pretty interesting. I think of the 2 of them, I really like Tom Holland, but I gotta say, I don't think Tom Holland is a good choice for this. I think Timothée Chalamet kind of fits with what Johnny Depp did. I think Timothée Chalamet is very quirky and odd, and I think that he would start a toy factory. He was also quite funny on Saturday Night Live a couple of weeks ago. So I would probably go with Timothée Chalamet. He already has a relationship with Warner Brothers thanks to Dune, so he's already a studio guy. And also, Tom Holland has such a bad track record of picking projects lately, and I feel horrible because Tom Holland, I think, is incredibly talented. But I'm like, I don't know. Also, could Tom Holland play the aloofness, the cruelness? Wonka is a cruel individual. I think that there's he's mischievous, he can be quite cruel. I wouldn't say he maybe necessarily is cruel, but that element is there. I can't see Tom Holland being really truly mean to anyone and kicking them out of his chocolate factory. But Timothée Chalamet would totally kick you out. What do you guys think? Who do you like best between the 2 of them? Robert Pattinson, that's funny. Robert Pattinson's already Bruce Wayne, though. That's right, Dancing Dog 60. Wonka does wonky things to people. Oh, Megan's like, neither one. Keep looking. Bill Hader? Dogomania. Bill Hader is a very interesting choice, but they want to go with, unfortunately, somebody tweeted me this right before we went live. They're de-aging the character just like Furiosa, which is kind of, a sad commentary on ageism in Hollywood. I think Bill Hader would be a wonderful Wonka. I like Not Your Nico is like Shallow May with all, I like the spaces there. You really got my attention. Holden hates the whole idea. A lot of you seem to hate this. I like Paul King's Paddington so much that I'm a little bit interested. But I do think that Tom Holland just doesn't work. I don't know if you need baby Wonka either, right? Do you want to see what Wonka was like as a young man? Janelle Monáe, Chris, that's a funny idea. Janelle Monáe would be fantastic. She's fantastic. Maybe she could inspire Wonka. Trauma queen forever. I don't know if Tom Holland is a terrible actor, but I would say that he has very little range. That's what I would say. Bill Skarsgård is interesting. Bill Skarsgård's certainly odd. And he also has a background with Warner Brothers. That's a good idea. Who wrote that? Who wrote Bill Skarsgård? Got to give you a shout out. Jack Adams, new member. Wow, way to come in with the heat. Meryl Streep, Chico. That's funny. Not Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller, I think he's just, he has lost all subtlety in my opinion. Megan, I appreciate your Dylan O'Brien fandom, but I just don't think he has the juice as an actor to get people interested in it. I like the Bill Skarsgård idea. I don't think this would be a good role for Tom Holland. Tom Holland is Tom Hanks, and the sooner he appreciates that about himself, I think the better he'll do. Sebastian, Evan Peters. I like Evan Peters. And maybe after his WandaVision role, whatever that might be, no spoilers, Evan Peters would maybe be better primed to take on a role like that. So yeah, there are some really cool choices out there. I would be happy with Timothée Chalamet, and I hope that Tom Holland stays away from this. I just don't see it. Hey, Bobby. But I'm okay with this. I'm okay with going forward with it. And I feel bad. Armie Hammer is pretty funny, Jed Knight. They sell chocolate there, not meat. But I do feel kind of bad for Johnny Depp being erased from all these iconic roles, but we told him to drop it. And I know some of you, every time I talk about Johnny Depp, and I appreciate that so many people who support him. I think that's wonderful. I support Johnny Depp. I want to see I support Johnny Depp in the long run. I think the best revenge, and some of us have said this about Ray Fisher's situation as well, the best situation is to be successful and to move forward. That's the best way that you can be successful. So I would like to see that. Oh, you guys, I'm like, what are you guys reacting to? Because you're a few minutes behind me and you're reacting to the Armie Hammer thing. Armie Hammer did it to himself, man, with his very sad drug habit. That's it's very unfortunate. All right. So that's the Ray. I don't think the Ray Fisher situation is going to work out. Walter Hamada is not going to go anywhere. I give that a 0. We'll see. Never say never, but I think so. I give it a 1 then, a 1 out of 100 of anything happening. All right, so that is the first story of the day. I'm glad you guys liked the meat joke. I didn't think that. I was just saying what happened. Armie Hammer doesn't want to be called a cannibal. He shouldn't message people about, you doing that to them. All right, let's go to the second story of the day before I get myself in trouble. Boop. All right, so Titans Season 3 is finally moving ahead. When are they going to film this thing? Titans Season 2, we'll talk about Titans Season 2 a little bit. I thought it had highs and lows. All right, so Titans Season 3, which is now an HBO Max show. Woohoo! I hope more people watch it. But then will that be bad or good, considering the show is so wildly uneven? But anyway, they cast Barbara Gordon today, who, of course, is originally Batgirl, but when we catch up to her on this show, she will be Oracle, but not just Oracle. That must be something she does in her downtime, because she's also going to be Commissioner of Gotham PD, which reminds me, of course, of Batman Beyond, when she grew up to take her father's place. Although at that point, in Batman Beyond, she was much older. She was her father's age in the comics. So I don't know how I feel about having such a young commissioner. I feel it's a little ridiculous and a little bit so CW and like this, the bad elements of these shows. But, let's see. So I'm just glad that they're doing something with the Oracle. I'm upset that everyone tells different versions of Barbara's story. When the Barbara story as is fantastic, it doesn't need to be amended, and no one will actually tell that story, which really drives me nuts. So I think she'll be in a wheelchair. That's a good question. I'm not sure if she's going to be in a wheelchair, Jack Admins. Because Savannah Welch is a real-life amputee, as you can see there. She was in a car accident. She lost her leg. But as you can see, she can still stand. So, Barbara Gordon is not an amputee. Barbara Gordon was paralyzed from the waist down, so she would be in a wheelchair. I think it's important. I felt that Barbara Gordon being taken out of the wheelchair in the comics and being Batgirl once again, thanks to some kind of technological fix, was like really uncool. I was very, very unhappy about that. I felt that it really robbed the evolution of the character and how she rose above her injury. I was pretty upset about that. I still pick up the Batgirl comic here and then, though, and sometimes her thing can malfunction and she's paralyzed again. It's annoying to me. But anyway, they're gonna do. That's interesting if they'll do a Joker flashback, Lloyd Lester. They might do something like that. Maybe like her memory of it. But this reminds me of the very progressive casting in Titans Season 2, where transgender and deaf actor Chella Man played Jericho. And I have to say, did an absolutely fantastic job. Chella Man was fantastic. So I thought that was a nice casting choice, and it got a nice little feather in the cap for the show. So this could do the same thing. Let's see how Savannah Welch does. This isn't going to work if she doesn't do a good job as Barbara Gordon, but she very well could, and then this will be fantastic. I'm really nervous about the quality of Season 3. I thought Season 2 was all over the place. I thought that the Superboy stuff was phenomenal. I loved the Superboy stuff. I thought it was so well done. I was so impressed. But as Mika keeps saying, Wonder Girl's death was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Patrick O'Donnell just said that literally. If you don't watch the show, Wonder Girl literally got killed by a tower, a communications tower, like a short one, falling over on top of her and electrocuting her. And you were like, that would not even slow Wonder Girl down, much less kill her. So it's a little bit ridiculous. So yeah, I agree. I hope that they do more with Starfire, Coriander. Anna Diop, I think, has not gotten a chance to really show what she can do in the role, although I do think that she's done a very good job with what she's been given. So I just hope that Titans is more good than bad. I believe that both Hawk and Dove have left. Hawk and Dove were in the original comic, which is fine, but they really took a lot of the focus, and they both did a very good job, by the way. But nobody tunes in to Titans for Hawk and Dove. So it's a little bit ridiculous to do. I mean, I think the cast is too big. What do you guys think? Yeah, they're going to do the Red Hood storyline. I mean, let's see. Oh, Dove is still back, Keith? Well, I think she does a nice job. I just feel like they don't belong on the show. I think Hawk got another show, but he could do both maybe. It's just too many characters and they're too spread out. Like, when are they finally going to come together as a team? I think they kind of did at the end of Season 2, but I don't know. And their costumes are like, sometimes they're great and sometimes they're awful. Like, I know that Aqualad's costume was comics accurate, but he looked ridiculous. I mean, it's comics accurate for the time period, but it doesn't translate to today. So we'll see what happens, but I think this is a nice casting choice, and I am excited to get these shows off the ground finally. Doom Patrol has a Season 3 coming. Let's do this. All right, so that's the Bruce Wayne stuff didn't work out either. I agree, KM. Recast Bruce Wayne. The actor they used, who I'm a big fan of, looks more like Alfred. And I didn't like when he was beating up Dick Grayson and Dick Grayson's mind. They were like, I was like, I don't want to watch this. You're wasting valuable time with stuff that I don't want to watch. And I'm not going to get to see what I do want to see. That's kind of like, to me, Titans in a nutshell. All right, so that's the, let's see here. That's the second story of the day. Now, the third story of the day, boom, baby, is some streaming updates. So, Netflix, as some of you sent me, had a nice little headline today that Netflix has just reached 200 million subscribers worldwide. That's amazing. Remember, Disney Plus is closing in on 90 million subscribers. They'll probably have reached 100 by their next Investor Day, which is, when's the next Disney Investor Day? February 11th. So I bet they'll reach 100 million by February 11th. But Netflix is at 200 million. Netflix is like, you ain't never going to catch me. But the other places are trying. Also, I don't know if you saw this. Some of you sent this to me as well. But if you go and you look at the LA Times today, and good luck trying to get to the article because it's behind a paywall. So it's like a fun game of what link can I click that will let me read this damn article. So anyway, I was able to click on the right link, and I got to read this LA Times article about churn. Churn, a new phrase for us to learn. Churn is I've called it riding subscriptions, but they're calling it churn. And that's where people are like, hey, I've watched everything I want on this service. I'm going to unsubscribe and go subscribe to another service. So people are hopping around to where they can, they can watch something. People aren't going to stay subscribed, period. Except at Disney Plus. I'm locked in there for 3 years at an insanely low rate. So I'm pretty happy about it. Although I have to say, HBO Max is expensive, but I do pay for that. Although it is spread across 3 members of my extended family, 3 households. So we're paying for that. I'm paying for that for 3 households. So churn, I think, is pretty interesting. So they're only apparently now discovering this. They're like, ooh, churn is really hurting us. I would suspect churn is hurting HBO Max the most. Although there are some new subscription services to suffer churn as well that are coming up. So I like calling it riding subscriptions, quite frankly. You know, like riding the rails. You know, back in the day, hobos would jump on the railroad and ride trains and go from place to place. And I think that has more of a romanticism to ride subscriptions. Churn just seems so negative. All right, so HBO Max announced today that they're getting ready to roll out in Latin America. Woohoo! That's the first place where they're going to go overseas, and they've hired someone to be their general manager. So now you can tweet him and be like, hey, buddy, give me what I want. Give me some Batfleck. Although after Ben Affleck said that about Kevin Feige, I thought that was like, he didn't need to do DC like that, man. I mean, if Ben Affleck goes over to Marvel, I think people are going to be pretty upset. Because he was really, really supported by DC fandom. And it would be bad. All right, so anyway, Latin America, by the way, loves DC content. Like, so incredible. Oh, you don't hear what Ben Affleck said? Ben Affleck said that Kevin Feige is the only executive that he would trust when the executive said, don't worry, audiences will love this. But he's not right, Lisa. I understand what you're saying, but I think that WandaVision has hit some turbulent times. We'll see what happens to WandaVision when it's done, but WandaVision is rocky out of the gate. And so I think that Kevin Feige made a critical error in feeling that people would embrace the sitcom idea, that people loved sitcoms as much as he does. And also that it was good to release just the first 2 episodes for WandaVision. They should have released the first 3. They knew it was the right thing to do for press, but they didn't do it. Because, by the way, I checked WandaVision today. It's down to 81% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. But it could rally by the end of the show. So we have to really see where it sits at the end of the season. All right, so HBO Max Latin America is rolling out this year, which I think is very exciting and going to be a very, very important boon for the service. And then Paramount Plus is getting ready to launch. Now, this is going to be interesting. So Paramount Plus, there you can see there, it's basically a repackaged CBS All Access. CBS All Access was a horrible name. People are like, I wouldn't pay for CBS. Why would I pay for CBS Plus? So Paramount Plus is how they're rebranding it. I think the Plus thing really works. I think Plus is a great way to go. And I love their slogan, as I've told you before, a mountain of entertainment. Because the Paramount Mountain, it's so fantastic. It will be launching only in the USA at launch, but it's being called Paramount Plus. Hey, Night Owl. Oh, a nice name. But it's gonna launch March 4th. Now, this is important because not only will SpongeBob, the new SpongeBob movie, be available at launch, which I think is going to be helpful. I'm excited about that. Really, only Canada has seen the SpongeBob movie. But also, the question is, will they put other movies on there? Will they do simultaneous releases like everybody else is doing, in theaters and on their streaming service? So this would be another streaming service for you to purchase. I've seen a couple of other entertainment reporters ask that question today, and I thought that was very interesting. Paramount will have an Investor Day on February 24th. Hey, Gareth, everyone's getting an Investor Day. And so I think it'll be interesting to see if they make that announcement. For instance, like A Quiet Place or Top Gun Maverick. Would those movies be available? They've sold off a lot of their stuff already. They're like, maybe we shouldn't have sold off Coming to America too. We could have had that on our service. But I think it's a pretty good idea. And also all the Star Trek, as Lee Matya is pointing out, that's really helped CBS All Access to date, and you would get that with Paramount Plus. So is anybody here interested in subscribing to Paramount Plus? I'll check it out. If it has SpongeBob, I'll get it as a critic. But I would totally 7-day free trial that. That's right, Juan. Everyone's getting an Investor Day. Oh, I see a lot of no's. Not another one, says Dre Films. It's a lot of subscription services. Jico says, I need to see content. That's fair. Food is my friend also says the same thing. That's a funny name. Let's see here. Churn, baby, churn. Who said that? D Films. Dre Films. Dre Films, that's fantastic. Way to bring it back. That's a great callback. For those of you who know comedy, a comedic term is a callback. You can get a really good laugh by calling back to something earlier in the set. So that churn, baby, churn was gold. I loved that. That was great. Ari says, far too many services. I agree. What do I have? I have Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max, and I have the free version of Peacock. And I haven't really watched anything on there. I still pay for cable, so I just DVR what I want to watch, quite frankly. What do you guys have? And I just got Discovery Plus. But I can't see myself. I don't really like the idea. It's hard for me to... And I have Hulu. But I get Hulu for free as a critic. Let's see here. Let's see. I have Apple TV for free also because I replaced my phone and they counted that as a new purchase. Oh yeah, and I also have Amazon Prime for my my free 2-day shipping. God damn it, I have a lot of services. And I'm still paying for cable. I just can't cut the cord though. Like I want to be able to just turn on CNN. How would I do that? I'm sure I could figure out a way. But I don't want to. I like my traditional television. I like being able to DVR Shark Tank. And you know what's good? Mr. Mayor, that new Ted Danson sitcom. It makes me laugh out loud every week. I've seen 3 episodes so far, and I thought they were all hilarious. You guys have a lot of subscription services too, isn't it? Yeah, you're right, Kevin. You do lose track, and that's how they keep you from churning. You're like, oh, I forgot I even paid for that. I will go over for my taxes, and I'll be looking at my expenses, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, damn it. They charge me every month for that. I think I'm not feeling it as much because I have so few other expenses because of the pandemic. But when I start being able to do things again, I might be like, whoa, wait a minute. It's pretty interesting. You guys have like a lot of services. Okay. There is Hulu Live, Mandela Butterfly. If I had Hulu Live, could I watch CNN though? Like, how am I going to watch the inauguration tomorrow? I need my coverage. I have a love-hate relationship with pundits on the news services. I don't think there's any news pundit who's truly neutral. I think CNN is the closest to a neutral news service. I know some of you right now are just like, what? But I think of all the news services, it is the most neutral. Nobody's told me how I could watch CNN. Ashley says Hulu Live freezes a lot. What? I don't want that. Oh, CNN is on YouTube, but I have to get YouTube TV, and that's very expensive too. YouTube TV is like $50. I pay like around $170 for all of for my phone, my cable, and my very fast internet. My extremely fast internet. I love my internet. What's CNN? MJC, you must not be in the United States. Well, Matt, it's as neutral as you can get. I wish there was truly a neutral news service because I don't like the bias that I see sometimes on anything. Just like movie math, I like to keep it real. So, for instance, I did think it was funny when everybody was like, why won't the Republicans vote to impeach? Why won't they shoot themselves in the foot and do the right thing? And you're like, no one does the right thing if it involves shooting themselves in the foot. But you got to give them the carrot of kicking Trump out of the party forever. That's why you got to give him some other... I mean, I felt that Nancy Pelosi should have gone to Mitch McConnell and say, what do you need? What do you need to make your constituents feel that you came through for them, even though you voted for impeachment? That's what I would have said. I think imploring someone to do the right thing is a fruitless effort in any scenario. You got to self-motivate. You got to motivate them. I feel very strongly about that. That's right. It was a unicorn, Alex. I hope you guys enjoyed that. A unicorn that ran across the screen. Lamaya says, being neutral is really hard. No one's free of prejudice. Oh, that's a nice thing to say. I mean, I like your being sympathetic to people trying to, their situation. All right. Am I pulling a house of cards, Storm King? I'm talking about getting results. And if you want someone impeached, you got to be like, how can I actually get this done? Not how would I ideally like to get it done? Because that's stupid. All right. Just like, what made Hollywood finally have representation? Money. that they knew these movies would do well. Warner Brothers was like, wow, Suicide Squad, the first one, sure made a lot of money with a diverse cast. What do you know? You know, and that's what's important. I think that's always really important. Well, Dark Savior, you should always do the right thing, but hardly anybody does. Not if it's going to be detrimental to themselves. That's, I think, you got to really pay attention to that. All right, so let's move on before I get myself in trouble again. All right, so those are the 3 stories of the day. It's 5:35. You can ask me anything you'd like until 5:45, and then I'll do a couple of shout-outs, and then I got to prep tomorrow's video. I'm like making videos a day in advance, basically. Oh, that's very sweet of you, Storm King. Yeah, Joe, it's always about money. Hugo says, when will we get a first look at Cruella? You got a first look at Cruella. Maybe the Super Bowl? Maybe in front of Raya. Disney has like too much to push. Too much to push. Let's see here. Brandon Hamill says, Grace, do you think that Blade will be rated R? I don't know about that. I think, would it really be a deal breaker for you guys if it wasn't rated R? I mean, I think they want to have as wide a net as possible. I don't see Disney Marvel doing any other rated R movies besides Deadpool because it just limits their audience too much. I mean, unless I got Jordan Peele to direct. I'd be like, please, Jordan Peele, what's it going to take for you to direct Blade? He's the perfect person to do it. It's so annoying that he's not doing it. Oh, let's see who they hire, though. Let's see who they hire. What's taking that movie so long to get off the ground? Okay, Ari says, what do you think about the rumors that Storm will be in Thor: Love and Thunder? The Storm rumor came from Roger Wardell. Do you know the legend of Roger Wardell? Roger Wardell is some individual who tweets stuff, and he's on his 3rd account. And he just tweets stuff every once in a while, and it usually is true. For instance, he's got some stuff on Wonka. I would caution you from reading his Twitter feed, though. Right now, it's Wardell Roger, if you want to go find it. He's got some massive spoilers on there. Things that I think are too spoilery. That's an interesting position we found ourselves in. People love spoilers, but I think we're starting to get to a point where these spoilers are like starting to, I think, ruin the experience of actually watching the material. But anyway, this Roger Wardell said that there would be a Thor Corps, and it would include numerous people, and one of those people would be Storm. I think that Kevin Feige better be careful. I think first of all, never say never, because it might turn out, as we have to always caution ourselves after some things have. But I feel that for Storm to be not introduced in Black Panther, but instead in a Thor movie, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I think people would be like, what? I also feel having 2 people who have lightning would also be dumb. I don't need Storm and Thor. And I also think that Storm and Thor have never had a relationship ever in the comics. They're not friends or anything. It's Roger Wardell, Wardell, but right now it's reversed. His Twitter account is Wardell Roger. But anyway, I feel like, so that's the problem. And then also, as some of you already said, there's way too many damn people in this Thor movie already. It's just too many people. How are they going to do the Jane Foster has cancer storyline with a gabillion other cast members? They've already got Guardians of the Galaxy in here. They've already got Gore the God Butcher. What the heck? Is Jane Foster just going to show up in the 3rd act? I mean, I really like Taika Waititi. I think he's very talented. I think he has, for the most part, good judgment. I had some problems with what he did. I had some problems with the choices that he made for Jojo Rabbit, but they were legit choices. I had creative issues, not in terms of, I didn't have a problem with, I had the problem with the stylistic, artistic choices he made, not with the way the film was put together. But I do worry that he'll come under significant criticism if he shortchanges Jane Foster like that. I mean, should really just be the Jane Foster story if this happens. Maybe 1 or 2 other characters. So I'm a little nervous that there are so many people in the movie. That's why I think Roger Wardell tweeted the Storm thing a long time ago. Hopefully, if it was true, they've taken it out. Alex DW says, did you vote for the TV Critics' Choice Awards? I am not in the TV category. I have started to cover more TV. Maybe I'll ask them about doing it next year, but right now I'm only in the film division. And right now we're not doing anything because there aren't enough movies. Wait a second here. Adam Mohammed said Guardians of the Galaxy will cameo in the beginning. I heard that they're going to be in there for a lot more than that. I heard that Groot and Rocket Raccoon have major roles in Thor 4. Mika says Spider-Man 3 is a Christmas movie after 2 summer releases. I think it's a great idea. John Hughes is famous. Alexander Wilson, thanks for joining. John Hughes is famous for his Christmas films. I think it's coming out for Christmas. I think it's a really great idea. I love it. I think it's fun. I'm excited for it. I thought the pictures that they released were charming. Filming. We didn't really see anything except that it was snowy, and at the bakery where MJ is working, they're celebrating Hanukkah, which I thought was fabulous. It looked cozy to me. Who's saying that? Bence Virag is saying, what about a WandaVision finale watch-along? Let me see. My only problem about doing that is that I'm going to be making so many videos covering the finale of WandaVision, especially if what Roger Wardell says about the finale is true. Don't read it. I'm sorry I read that tweet, by the way. Just so you know, Roger Wardell had a prediction about the end of WandaVision, and if it's true, I'm upset that I read it. So be really careful out there. But if that's true, that would lead to a number of videos for me to make, including the videos I already have to make about the ending. So it's a little bit difficult to do a watch along, when these things come out, when they're actually released. When I can do a watch along when something comes out finally on streaming, because then we can all watch it together. And it's been a long time since it came out. But it's hard to do a watch along when these things are debuting for the very first time. Vuchuli says, when do you think the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer will be released? Any moment, probably next week. Late this week's kind of crowded, but the movie's right around the corner, so I think you'll be getting a trailer probably next week. But literally any day. Maybe we'll do a Godzilla vs. Kong watch along. Something like that. What are some movies coming up? Maybe that. There should be a new Raya trailer very soon. That movie is also extremely close. Mika, I do, as I tweeted, have an idea of who Dottie is on WandaVision, but I don't want to spoil it. Dre Film says, is the Mortal Kombat trailer coming soon? Last I heard, they're still working on it, so it's not complete, actually. The film is done, but they're still working on the trailer, so that should be soon, but I don't think it'll be this week. Brandon says, what is Roger's Twitter? Roger Wardell's Twitter is @WardellRoger, and it's WARDELL. But don't spread it online. Please, just read it and keep it to yourself. Dottie is the blonde on WandaVision, her neighbor. 2 minutes left. Erwin says, what did I think of the photos of Mortal Kombat? I thought they were weak. I thought they looked very Resident Evil-y, but I was impressed that it trended. I'm excited. I'm curious to see if Raya will have a problem with being so similar to Last Airbender. Let's see how similar it actually is. Nicholas Aguilar says, is Morbius really that bad? That's what I heard. And as I said, I don't think anyone's surprised. I think that, although I did see The Little Things, the embargo hasn't lifted yet, but I thought Jared Leto, I was watching The Little Things and I was like, damn it, Jared Leto would have made a great Joker if he'd been given enough room. I'm excited to see him in the Snyder Cut. I still think Jared Leto has potential as Joker. Oh, I think the Eternals teaser, Dancing Dog 60, is so far away, I think they're not going to even start to promote that until Black Widow actually comes out. Oh, it's 5:45. Okay, no more questions, but you can I like to give a couple shout outs. So tell me what's going on with you. I saw, Indigo, I saw your question, but I don't want to talk about that because it's a bit of a spoiler. I'm trying not to spoil stuff for people. So what are you up to? Are you eating anything? Are you watching anything tonight? Just tell me what's going on with you, where you are, so I can give you just a little bit of a shout out. Zeester, are you feeling okay? I saw that you got diagnosed with coronavirus, and I know you work so hard to stay safe. I hope you're feeling okay. Jurassic Park says, I'm chilling in bed in Melbourne, Australia. What a perfect place for you. Waffles is eating pasta on Long Island. Ooh, I love it. Kevin is having chili in Montreal. Joseph says, hi, Grace. I just got back from Amazon. Your job? Oh, it's so nice to see you always, Joseph. Hey, Noah Down. Thanks for joining. Michael Hartshorn is working in Corona, California. What a place to work with high wind advisories. Yeah, I saw they had to stop the vaccinations at Disneyland because of that. MJC says, had a good quiz with my friends on Zoom. Oh, that sounds a fun thing to do. Jed Knight says, good day, Grace. I'm eating Vegemite toast and bacon for breaky. That's very Australian of you. I love it. Eli is doing schoolwork in NOLA. Love it. Ari is eating salad in London. Jordan Sharkey is reading Young Avengers for the first time in Scotland. I love it. Doing your homework. Jack Adams says, day 2 into my MCU marathon in Winchester, UK. That sounds fantastic. Evan Moore is having breakfast for dinner in Ohio. I moved back to school on Saturday. Oh, wow. Be safe. I had breakfast for dinner the other day. I made French toast for dinner. I think I did that on Friday. It was fun. Let's see here. William Rodriguez is working on his film script. I love it. Dancing Dog 60 is having Popeyes in Boston. Delicious. Did you get the Popeyes chicken sandwich? ES says, I'm asleep in a bit, but we'll check that Twitter account first. Don't spread. With great power comes great responsibility. Pastor Madeline is eating tomato soup and British bacon. Oh, what's British bacon? I do like bacon. I always feel bad, though, because pigs are so smart. But bacon is still good. Turkey bacon just ain't the same. You ever had bacon on a salad? It's delicious. Let's see here. Adam Muhammad is going to sleep in Manchester. I love it with the British flag there. Champagne Mahdi is watching WandaVision, eating nachos in Liverpool. You're having a nice evening. Let's see here. Noah Down is eating, enjoying some afternoon coffee on a cold day in Seattle. That's the coffee capital of the world. Carlos Munoz is eating homemade chicken Alfredo. That sounds delicious. Hocus Pocus is making steak and veggie kebabs on the grill in Hershey. Oh, that's great. I love Hershey, Pennsylvania. I haven't been there in such a long time. I love going to the world of chocolate. The theme park's pretty nice, too. Jules Ingram just brushed the dog's teeth. That's hilarious. That's so much fun. I hope we were able to distract your dog while you did that. Sony just announced a Dusk movie in development. What's the Dusk movie? Like Dusk Till Dawn? Njiko is going to read the new Scarlet Witch and WandaVision comic tonight. Do you mean the trade paperback that I recommended? That's actually an old comic. But it has so much from the series, even down to the Halloween setting, which I thought was just amazing. Clearly, the people who made WandaVision read that original 12-issue miniseries and were like, how can we adapt this? Which I think is both good and bad. Because I think that comic is not particularly well known to people. So I don't think there's as much need for it to be so accurate. We'll see. All right, I got to get going, everybody. I had a lovely time talking to you, as always. There might be a stream tomorrow, but there will definitely be one on Thursday. So have a wonderful Inauguration Day, everybody. And if you're not in the United States, have a fabulous Wednesday. Okay, bye, everyone.